Alright, so we're currently down at the creek, and the first thing that we're going to collect for our fish room is some rocks. Now, you know, rocks are used for a lot of things, whether it's holding down plants, aquascaping. You know, there's a lot of different things you can use rocks for. Specifically, the reason why I need these rocks is because I'm looking for like very small rocks around this size, and you got to be careful where you collect rocks from. You don't want to go to someone's property and just go collecting off their property. Preferably if you have a mate of yours, or preferably even your own property, you can go and collect rocks off your property. I'm just coming down to my local creek. You don't want to go into national parks and stuff like that either. Got a bucket, that's all you'll need. Now let's collect some rocks. So another thing I want to mention while we're on the topic of rocks is actually our second thing we're going to be collecting today, and that's like gravel. I think it would be in the category of gravel, but it's quite a large coarse gravel. And the places where you usually find gravel is in like locked up areas like this. So we've got 3 big stones making this like circle in the middle. So whenever you get floods and stuff like that, it washes all the fines into these like holes, and in return you get this kind of like larger coarse kind of gravel. Sometimes you even get like silt, like a really fine sand just underneath this kind of stuff. So we're going to be collecting this nice gravel stuff as well. So the third thing on our list is driftwood, bogwood, that sort of thing. Now, this is actually something that's kind of rare and hard to find a really good piece in my particular area. Quite often when we get floods and stuff, it washes up all of this crap, and occasionally you'll find some really nice pieces of like driftwood. Now, you just have to be careful with driftwood because there is certain types of trees that inhibit toxins and poisons within its sap. So if it's a freshly fallen branch or root, it still may, you know, have those sorts of things inside of it. But if it's a real dry piece of wood, something that's been floating in the creek for a long time, it should be fairly safe. But just keep in mind there that there are some species of trees that could be harmful. You can collect this sort of thing from the beach. I think you're probably safer to collect it from the beach, in all honesty, because it's been floating out in the ocean, like salt water. But it doesn't matter where you collect your timber from, I still highly recommend boiling it before you chuck it in your aquarium. That way you can kill any like bugs or anything on it that could harm your fish. We're going to be keeping an eye out for timber today, but unfortunately I don't think there's going to be too many options. A lot of this is just like sticks and branches from a flood, but occasionally when you go to a creek or a river, dam, sometimes you'll find some proper nice pieces of roots from, you know, dead trees that have died a few years ago and floated around the creek. And sometimes you will find some good pieces, but in this area there isn't too many. So that's not really what we're going to be collecting today, but that is a potential option to keep your eyes open for when you are collecting, you know, other types of stuff. Now the last thing on our list is botanicals. Botanicals are like kind of crazy because there's so many different botanicals you can collect. But luckily I've got quite a few of them on hand on the property that I live on, and we're going to be collecting them, well, the rest of the things on this video here. So our first botanical on the list is mulberry leaves. Now, mulberry leaves, they're a tree that doesn't drop too many leaves from what I've noticed, which can be a bit of a bummer. I also think the reason why we don't see so many leaves on the ground as well is because mulberry leaves decay really, really fast. On the ground and in an aquarium as well. So, you know, you put a mulberry leaf in your aquarium, it'll be gone in a day or two. So we're going to see if we can find any mulberry leaves. It doesn't look like there's really too many around, but as I said, we'll have a look. I'm dead set serious. I couldn't find a single mulberry leaf around the whole tree. As you can see, it's flourishing and there's not a single dead leaf on the tree either. So we're going to absolutely bag the idea of getting mulberry leaves, and we're going to move on to our next botanical. So the next thing is guava leaves. Now, again, super simple, just find a guava tree, look underneath it, and you're going to find the dead leaves. Guava trees have a fair few dead leaves, I find, so, you know, if you drive past a neighbour and they have some, ask if you can collect some dead leaves. I'm sure they'll be very grateful for you to take them, so that they've got a clean yard. But yeah, we're going to be collecting some of these. Pretty simple, give them a wash before you put them in your tanks, and they're another great botanical. Okay, so the last leaf we're going to be collecting, or last botanical, is banana leaves. Now, banana leaves are probably the best thing on this list in terms of what you can use it for. They're great for like breaking down and getting biofilm on them for baby fish to eat, shrimp, for just as a botanical in your aquarium, and they're really accessible. I mean, you can go to a freaking banana farm and just freaking ask them for leaves. I'm sure they'd give them to you if you met the owner. We're growing a few bananas here, so all you need to do is pick up the leaves off the ground, make sure that farmers haven't been spraying chemicals on them, and then they're good to go. I just wanted to mention a few other things that you guys could collect as well that are quite easy. So like, sometimes this is even rarer than like guava leaves and banana leaves, is Indian almond leaves. So I mean, you can order these online as well. Any botanicals that you guys want to get, like blackwater botanicals and stuff like that, you can order through Jason from Australian Biotopes. I'm sure he's would be more than happy to ship out some botanicals for you guys. I think he does sell them, but you can collect some other things. So the things that I've personally collected before that I know are good are things like pine cones. You can collect pine cones, you can collect other types of leaves. There are a lot of like seed pods and like seeds and stuff you can collect as well. If you guys have any inquiries about things that you have in your area that you want to know whether they're suitable botanicals, maybe get on to Jason and see if he thinks they're good for your aquarium. Maybe comment on some of his videos. If you have any questions, I'm sure he'll answer for you guys. But basically, my list, this isn't botanicals. This is just things you can collect in the wild, including botanicals. You've got rocks, gravels, sands, driftwood, bogwood. You can collect some types of plants, but have to be careful what you collect and where. I don't do that too often. You can collect, then you go into your botanicals, so you've got like pine cones, seed pods, types of stuff like that, and then you go into like leaves, so you've got guava leaves, mulberry leaves, Indian almond leaves, banana leaves. There is a freaking bunch of other stuff that you can collect that I haven't collected, but anyways, I just thought I'd bring you guys along for the journey. I don't know a whole lot about this sort of thing, but yeah, I just thought I'd bring you guys along. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.